Welcome, everyone, to the Transformation Nurse Academy podcast. This is our weekly episode, Talk with Kevin, where we cover topics for all nursing fields with extra emphasis on emergency and critical nursing. Get ready for candid discussions that explore the vast landscape of nursing and beyond.
Good morning, all you motherfucking bitches. We're here today. It's January 31st. It's fucking 5:47 a.m. I had to get my ass up early because, Maggie lives in Texas and she can't fucking work around me and shit. I'm just teasing Maggie, but we're going to interview her, Maggie Ortiz. She's with Advocates for Nurses. And so I'm just here early giving fucking Jane some content for her bloopers and shit. We'll be having an episode coming out soon with the lady named Alicia Trader. Don't be mad at Alicia if I said her name wrong. Damn, now you're going to make me look that shit up so I don't fuck it up. Alicia Trader. I don't know if I'm saying it right, Alicia, but don't be mad at my ass. Anyway, it's going to be a good episode. It's going to be a 3-part series, if not more. It'll be a little different because we're going to do it live. I just got to figure out how to do this shit. And then Jane's busting my balls about it. So I hope that you guys like it. We'll be having a webinar soon as well with Aaron Washburn. Remember Aaron, a couple episodes ago. So today it drops an episode with Kelly Malkitz. I can't ever say her fucking name. M-A-L, how the fuck do you spell Kelly's name? Shit. M-A-C-H-O-L-Z, Kelly Mackles. Oh, Mackles, that's right, Kelly Mackles. Anyway, that episode will be dropping today. So hope you guys like that shit. Anyway, we're waiting here, and hopefully soon somebody will arrive. If not, I'm going to be motherfucking pissed. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Look at you with your fancy-ass background and shit. I don't have one like that.
Oh, just my logo. Nothing crazy.
It's nice, though. I like that. It's good.
Well, thank you.
I need something fancy like that. So can you share with our audience your journey to becoming a registered nurse and how you progressed to getting your master's degree in nursing? I think you have your master's, right?
I do. I have it in leadership. So
it's
I was never gonna be in leadership, but I thought that at the time it was a good idea. So I was an associate nurse for 20 years. I'm sorry, for 15 years. And then I went back to school. As most people know, a lot of facilities that are magnet will not let you move up anywhere because you don't have a bachelor's degree.
Right.
So then I just decided, I'm doing a bachelor's to master's. And so I just did mine in leadership, never went into leadership. Like we talked about, I spent the majority of my career in the ICU, went to the ER, pre-op, PACU, endo, IR. I left cath lab and EP, last, was doing some structural heart stuff. I've done surgery centers. I've done, local travel. And then I spent time at the board of nursing. And then
how did you get into the board of nursing, though? How did you get that damn job?
I applied. I can guarantee you right now there's positions open.
I'll get back to that. But is it something that you wanted to do so you could get in and see the rigmarole and see all the bullshit? Or did you just do it because you thought it was going to be?
Remember when you were talking about burnout in the very beginning, how we move around and we're looking for jobs? Yeah. So I was there.
Oh,
I just helped open
up. Why the fuck a board of nursing?
Well, because I liked policy.
I got you.
I just was kind of like driven by people always, I just was that. And I was like, well, let me check out the board of nursing. And then I was just trolling through Indeed or whatever. And I was like, shut up. Investigator 5. I applied, went through a rigorous interview.
I got you. Okay.
And then I got sent to national training. Actually, it was just happened to be here in Austin. It's called CLEAR. Anyone, if you're an investigator for the police, you're going to go PT, OT, MD. Anyone going to be an investigator with an agency goes to national training, and you just learn the investigative process. Then I went back to my agency, and then I was taught, quote unquote, how to, use the rules and regulations within my own agency. Then I had to study up on 217, 211, and then 301-452.
Yeah, but you're throwing out all these numbers. Are these Texas? Are these Texas related? Or are these? Yeah. So
I'll just tell you what ones that any nurse should study up on that will be used against them. So it will be standards of practice. Whether you have a board of nursing structure, everyone has some kind of standards of RN, LPN, APRN.
Are you talking about like the Nurse Practice Act?
But not every state does have a traditional structure. Well,
Well, I don't feel like California has a very good
they
structure. I
don't.
mean, I call California a nanny state. They like to hold our hand every step of the damn way.
Some of the stuff can be very detailed and some of it can be very vague. And that's
Well,
true.
that's our
A lot of
that's
these
our
boards.
yeah. Well, that's our problem. Like, so the case that we referred, that you tried to help with, where an LVN pulled out the PIC line. I don't see anywhere in her scope of practice where it says you can't do it or you can do it. It doesn't say one way or the other. So, I mean, if you could pull out a damn Foley, I mean, I know it's a little bit more invasive, but I mean, if it doesn't say you can't, then how can you punish somebody for that shit?
Right. It's
Like,
considered a central line. And I don't know that education and her training, she got that. And I'm not, because again, who
no,
delegates
I
that
got
task
you.
with
But
her?
then they should say that shit in their
Yeah.
damn scope. I mean,
Yeah.
I do know that they get certified in IV therapy, and then once
Correct.
you're IV therapy certified, they can access central lines and they can infuse in central lines as long as it's not against a hospital policy. But most people
Correct.
don't even know that shit. So
Correct.
yeah,
And,
so
and
all
that
right,
depends on the state as well. No, and I agree.
right.
And this is where I get like crazy when people tell me, but the hospital policy says this. I could give two shits. You know what I
Right.
care about? I care about what your scope of practice is. I care about, and I don't know if you saw that video I did, because someone
Yes.
was saying that the hospital was basically extending on the LPN
Yeah, I
scope.
saw that. Yeah, I saw
You're
that. Yeah.
not. Wrote
Well,
a clause.
that's because they believe they're charge nurses, they believe
I
they're
know.
managers, and I'm
And
like, the
why shouldn't
managers.
you? But again, so on the other flip
Well,
side,
the managers don't even know the policy
I
sometimes
know,
because
gosh, this is
that's
what's
well,
so
managers
sad.
don't get proper training either. You just say, "Hey, would you like to be the manager today?" I mean,
Yes.
like in our area right now, we have a
Yes.
lot of new nurses that are a year and a half into nursing, and they're already the charge nurse
No,
because
no.
they, it looks cute on their resume,
Ego.
but
Let's be
yeah.
real. And I'm
So
not saying I was never that person. I'm
yeah,
not
I
going to
got a
sit
big
here right
ego.
now. Correct. I'm not going to sit here at 23 years in and tell you that I was never affected by that. What we're trying to tell you right now, our gift to you right now, is that you cannot do that. What on my slide, it's like slide 12 of my charting class. Leave your ego at the time clock is my exact slide.
Yeah.
We have to stop that.
Yeah, it's hard though. Tell nurses we got bigger egos than fucking doctors and shit. So that's good. So what sparked your interest in to specialize in legal nurse consulting, and how does this role intersect with your nursing experience? Is it because we went to the board?
Yeah. And
You
when
saw
I
how the
left,
board was fucking us up?
I could only stay 6 months. I just morally and
Oh
ethically
shit.
had some problems. I have smarticles. I mean, but I'm also built differently. I mean, I was
I know.
13 and I remember there was a fight behind the school and it was two white people were fighting. Everyone comes down. My dad was an active duty Air Force. So a
Well, I
large
won't hold that
military
against you and
office.
shit. We can't all be perfect. Fucking Air Force.
Hold on. My
Where's my
husband's prior
Nerf gun?
army. Hold on, my
Where-
husband's prior army. Does that count? Does that help?
Oh, Air Force.
The bunch of us go running and they immediately run after the minorities. And so I start yelling and screaming. They come and get me, take me down to the police station, call my dad in his first shirt to tell them that I'm trying to incite a riot. But you see how I'm just from then. I mean, my dad used to always say my mouth overrides my ass. So I know that I'm
Right.
built differently. So when I
Right.
was there and I saw what I now know to be mitigating circumstances that should be extended, then I just started doing my own research. I studied up on administrative law. I went to the Texas Nurses Association. I started speaking about some stuff. I met my now mentor, Lolly Lockhart. She's a PhD nurse. If you look her
Mm.
up, she's literally the hippie nurse from Austin and what she has
What's her
done.
name again?
Lolly Lockhart,
LOLI?
Lolly
Oh, Lolly.
Lock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lockhart.
She came up with the investigative
That's
process.
Dr. Lockhart to you,
It
man.
is. It is Dr. Lockhart.
I got you, Lolly. Don't worry, man.
Man, she is on. They have a video about her. I mean, she's just done some very profound stuff for nurses. So her and I started doing a little collaboration. She was seeing stuff outside of agency and I was seeing inside of agency. And then I started, just looking around the universe, journals written about the overextension of boards, their abuses, not just for nursing. And then I connected with a physician group. The president for that organization, a physician and myself, went to Texas Public Policy Foundation to present our concerns and basically told, good luck. Those are sovereign entities.
Right.
So
Yeah, they are, because I just learned, I don't know if it's through you or somebody else, but board can make a decision. You can take it to a judge. The judge says, no, the board's full of shit. That's not going to stand. But the board can like, we don't give a fuck, judge. Fuck you. We're going to do it anyway. How
You
can a
probably learned
damn
that from
board
me.
override a damn a legal official?
An
How's that
administrative
even?
judge. It's called a proposed decision. Yes.
Yeah, but how can a judge not have sole authority? How can a judge not override a board? A board is not like a higher power. I don't get that shit.
And so even if you look at the history of administrative law, and I don't know if you know this, this
You-
isn't a newer
you
law. I'm just trying to, because again, we wrote up some pretty powerful stuff. I mean, I wrote a bill for an ombudsman, a third party entity, and then like concerns about like the board of entity, like I wrote up due process clauses. I wrote up myself and an activist, the only one I work with, like a preamble, like the board of nursing should have to extend us due process rights, and some of the reform, the right to be fairly investigated, and that the investigation will be limited to the complaint. There should be no opportunistic fishing for false morals or character judgments when a complaint is found to be unsubstantiated. The right to detailed description of the complaint, sufficient that the nurse has a clear understanding of the allegations being made against him or her and by whom. All the files of the board regarding a complaint, investigation, and disciplinary action shall be made available to the nurse through full discovery and shall be disclosed to the nurse upon request. The nurse may issue an interrogations or discovery request to the investigator, executive director, or any board member who shall be compelled to respond, provided for in the Code of Civil Procedure. The nurse shall have the right to depose the investigator or investigators of the complaint against him or her as provided for in the Code of Civil Procedure, subject to the objections thereunder. Any potentially I'm not gonna be able to say this word.
Right, that's a big fucking word. Expulsory.
Yes, evidence shall be disclosed to the nurse, whether or not requested or whether reduced or recorded to a documentary form. The right for a nurse facing the board to request that a hearing be conducted in a district court. The court shall try all issues of fact and the law in the manner applicable to other civil suits in the state, including the right to a jury determination of any issue of fact on which a jury determination is valuable in other civil suits in the state.
But they're not going to sign that shit.
No.
Right. So this happened. There's a lady that I know and work with. I love her to death. I won't mention her name because that's her story. But she got reported to the board for something that was, to me, minor. She went to the board and was cleared of that. However, the board went back 10 years in her charting and gave her reprimand 10 years back. I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, why aren't we sticking to this? Like, how can they go back 10 years and look at
10 years, Lovey. I was told back. I was taught and trained how to use microfiche, and many people here, you and I don't know what microfiche is.
Microfiche. No, y'all guys don't know what microfiche is. So
please explain that.
Microfiche is this little, I don't know, it's like a little small film and shit, and you put it in this little big old contraption, and the light turns on, and you're fucking sliding and looking through all this shit to try to see if you can find one little. It's like crazy shit.
I was trained to do that, and I was told, I don't care if you're 54, I was told to go back till you're 18 years old and look up stuff. And I was like, what?
That's crazy, right? So you already told me. So you told us what led you to the board of nursing. You just wanted to fucking to get a job because you were burnt out and stuff. So what unique challenges and opportunities did you encounter? What did the board do to you, and what did you find out when you worked there? Like, what is it that soured you on the board of nursing?
Some of the stuff I just
6 months that you were there.
Because
I'm no different. I only stayed as a workers' comp nurse for 6 months, and I couldn't stomach it either because of the way they treated people. So
yeah, I don't feel like I'm getting all the mitigating circumstances. Like I wanted to know different things. I wanted to know, and the workflow is just different there. I had 200 to 300
it's a government job. Government people work slow.
They do, and you know what it is. I took a pay cut to be there, and at 200 to 300 cases you're managing. And I was on a huge learning curve, and I just felt, and what I now know and have confirmed that, we're not, and not just my state, it's every state across the United States for the most part. Are there some that are just more just than others? There are. Kentucky, I found, is a better one. They will reach out to the nurse depending on the allegation and not send them initial allegations. So there's different phases of the investigative process.
Yeah, I like that.
We'll reach out and just say, hey, do you know what's happening? And we'll send some basic information, not in an allegation format where most states will send that. Because when I got a complaint, it was me writing up your allegation. I got the complaint from you, your job, whatever it is. And then I was writing on or about this date while you were working at this job, and I'd send you your allegation. And then I would have to send a subpoena to your job. I'd have to call the CNO to tell her I needed your employee file, the records, all of it.
So do you know how I got involved with the Board of Nursing?
I didn't know you were involved with the Board of Nursing.
Not directly, but I mean, this is how I kind of got into this situation. So when I moved to California, I like to fish because I'm from Texas and shit. So I like to fish. So
I
we have these
do.
things called aqueducts. Do you remember this story
I do.
about the two fucking fish?
I want
Yeah,
you to tell it
it
though.
ain't fucking about Jesus and the two fish and the 5 loaves of bread and shit. It didn't turn out that way. So I caught 2 fish on the aqueduct that were basses that were 15 inches long, and they're technically, I guess, supposed to be 17 because they were special bass. I mean, who the fuck knows that? And so they gave me 2 tickets, and both tickets turned out to be misdemeanors. And the board sent me a letter saying they were going to revoke my license over 2 misdemeanors over 2 fucking fish. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I died and gone to the Twilight Zone and shit. So I had to hire a lawyer. I had to pay
Yep.
that son of a bitch $2,000
Yep.
so we could go to court and he could break it down to an infraction, like a speeding ticket, just so
Yep.
I wouldn't get my license taken away. I'm like, this is fucking retarded. Like, this is stupid. So
And
that's why I never went
I
fishing
wish.
again. And
Yeah.
I know, but it's crazy. Like, I can't even imagine that the board would deal in shit like that. Like, that's stupid. But
State,
because of that,
unfortunately, is one of the most egregious boards in the
it
United.
is, because out of that, I learned that if you drive from here to there and you cause a car crash and it's more than $3,000 worth of damage, they'll report you to the board. And I'm like,
Yep.
this is nuts.
You fail on
Like,
your school loan. You fail
child
on.
support.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep. Some things that
it's
nurses don't even
nuts.
realize. I don't agree with that. Who would become a nurse? If you knew a mere fraction of what you did today, would you become a nurse? Absolutely not. I would
No,
not.
but I tell people this when they come to class. I'm like, no joke. I ask them, I'm like, Maggie, what's your name? And they go, oh, Maggie Ortiz. No, it's not. It's RN 2456. You're a
Yep.
fucking convict of the state of
Oh,
California. Maggie Ortiz is dead. You no longer exist. You're a fucking
oh my
convict.
God.
True
Yes.
though.
Yes.
You are owned by the state of California.
Yep. That is
And
solid. I
so,
say all the time, you don't get to take off your nurse hat. Once it's on, you don't get to take it off.
and that's crazy. Well, teachers are kind of the same way, but they're not
Yeah.
as hard asses on teachers as they are nurses. But how
No.
come they're not hard on doctors? Why is it only nurses that we get fucked over? That's
Well,
what I don't understand.
and I'm
So
not being sexist, but what's the majority of our population?
I
I'm
get that, but I'm
ugly.
being sexist because I tell ladies, like, you guys outnumber men. There's no reason why you shouldn't be running the damn world. But
Yep.
so if you got problems in the world, it's your fault because you won't tell us to sit down and shut up and take over.
Yep. And there it is. That's what it is.
Oh,
We need more assertive
I'll be
women.
sexist. I don't care. All right. So, in your work in the Board of Registered Nursing, what have been the most common grounds for disciplinary action against nurses? What did you see one thing that was more prevalent than anything else? Because I know what I see here in California.
A lot of it is, and I would say across the United States and even then and now, is something related to drugs.
Right. Did you see
It's
the
either,
story recently that I
yeah,
posted about the guy
yes,
shooting the
yes,
propofol and shit? But people
yes.
make fun of him, but I think he was trying to kill himself because he's either a dumbass nurse because he doesn't know what propofol does, or 2, he was trying to commit suicide because who
Yeah,
would shoot up propofol in the damn break room?
that's crazy.
Oh,
That is, and unfortunately, right now, mental health problems with nurses, post-COVID especially. And only that, we normalize, and I don't have an opinion about it. I mean, we drive, you when you drove there, you drive somewhere, you drive past 5 alcohol billboards.
right.
And then
Right.
we associate all this up, but then we tell you don't have a problem. Put that person in a body bag and then don't shove it down,
Right.
and then work it out. And then we're going to need you here tomorrow. We're going to have to put the next person, you know,
Right.
we're broken. And then what do we turn to? Well, what's legal? And
Right.
then so now you get a DUI. Now you have an addiction problem. Now we're going to shame you and evaluate you for fitness to practice. And now we're going to penalize you to go to this program that's going to
Right.
be on your record that will be
Yeah.
on universities for life.
I think the average I saw, because this is one thing I didn't like about the California Board of Nurses, the average fee that people were paying was like 50 to 60 grand to keep their
Yeah.
license.
Yeah.
And what I didn't like was you could have 1 DUI and you got 3 years probation. I
Yep.
have 5 DUIs and I only got 6 months probation. I'm like, what the
Yep.
fuck? Like, there's
There's no
no
consistency.
consistency, and I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
And it should
And I
be
guess
across the nation. I think that it should be consistent because if the National Council Board's at the top,
Yeah,
giving
but
their
California's
guidelines,
not part of that. California won't join the damn compact state because they want to be their own damn
But I think they still have to take guidance from the National Council of State Boards of Nursing
They
as
must take
far as
very
like
little and shit.
as
They
far as
must do
like
the bare minimum.
regulation.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
they
they
do.
must do the bare minimum because
And I'm not sure about compact either. I think it's a good thing and a bad. And when I was at TravCon, there was a lawyer that was speaking for compact. And so I was like, oh, me. They
look at
don't know
me.
who I
If
am.
Maggie goes missing, now you know why and shit.
Oh, exactly. That's
She's
real.
talking shit about the compact state. I don't know, but you gotta be worried because it's a business. Like I
No,
mean,
it is.
yeah.
So what I was asking him, I was like, hey, I know you're talking about compact, so tell me about double jeopardy. So if a nurse has a compact license and they hold more than one license, they will go
Oh.
down in every single state. So what are you doing, Mr. Compact? He wanted nothing to do with me. Nothing at
Yeah.
all. Still have not heard from
That's
this
a good point. I didn't think about that. If you screw up, well, because if
Yeah.
you screw up, I tell nurses, if you screw up in California, no other state's gonna touch you. Why is that though? I mean, I already know the answer, but why is it different when doctors kill somebody? Because look at the doctor that killed Michael Jackson. He's still working.
Yep.
So why is it that if you kill somebody, you can't work in another state? Why is it they
Or
can, but nurses can't?
they don't report like we do. It's hard to report a physician. We have a wall of shame called nurses that our
We
name will
do.
go on. And if nurses don't know what that is, that's nursys.com. You can look yourself up, use the
One
middle
more time, say it
column,
again.
nursys.com, nurses.com.
.com, yeah.
And then the middle column, the blue one, you just agree to that. It's free. And then you can look up your own license. You can look up anyone's license. If you're interested in what someone's orders look like, you don't know what agreed orders are. You look at your pamphlet and you see there are 5 people in there who've been disciplined. They ratified their orders under the Board of
So you
Nursing.
telling me there's an easier way for me to go look up people's shit than what I've been doing? Is that what you're telling me?
Do
Because
you
I
use
usually just go
Nurses?
to the border to the Breeze website and I'll
No.
type in Ortiz and it'll pull up all the Ortizes. And then I just look for the little PDF icon. And if I see it, I'll click on it because I can see what the hell. Is there
Well, do
easier
you know
way
the
to
name? Well, nurses will bring everyone up in the United States, pretty much.
that's been disciplined?
Well, you'll have to search them by name.
Oh, see, so it's no different then. All right. All right.
No,
That's what I
no.
do for fun and shit.
Wow. That's
I do
awesome.
because I go and I look and I read those cases because it makes me go, oh shit, did I have
Yep.
ever done that stuff? Because it
Yep.
makes me think about what I might have done or might, because this is what I want to do. I want to take cases like that, post it on our Facebook page or group and discuss that case. What could a nurse done better? Why do you think they did this? So people could talk about that.
And then we need
Well,
to educate also our nurse leaders. There needs to be a very,
I am working on a
very
charge nurse
high,
class and a manager class.
a very high threshold to report to a board of nursing. Texas requires peer review. It is law in my state that they use the peer review process. And then I asked to speak to
I don't know what that means. Explain to us what that means.
So there's a difference between like what safe harbor peer review is and then a peer review
Most
process.
people don't even know what safe harbor is.
Sure. So I'll dissect both of those, and those are 2 different separate words. So if you get peer reviewed, you're having a medication error. Let's just say it was a medication error, like the last one I was involved with, younger nurse, had only been a nurse for 3 months, which I do not support. I don't think someone less than a year should be peer reviewed, but had a medication error or they saw some trends. They brought people from different areas to all RNs, a pharmacist. There's like 5 or 6 people. It should never be your leadership. They come, they look at the records, then everyone meets, you're there, and you guys go back and forth. So Kevin, tell me, so it looks like you gave labetalol and the heart rate was 22. So do you want to tell me about that? So did we do a blood pressure or was the rhythm? I mean, I don't know. Was that a rhythm I didn't recognize?
Okay, so what this? People laughing at this though, but look at me. I teach IV therapy once a month. No, but I'm very big on medications. A lot of nursing schools are no longer teaching their nurses medications because they want them to rely on pharmacy.
No.
Yes, you better start asking around. That's something that you should. That's
The
something you
border
should.
nursing. I just read this one yesterday. Requires that you know the medications. Holy
I'm
shit.
just telling you, like this is what I asked my students. I said, "Do you make drug cards?" "Oh, we make drug cards." I said, "What did you do with it?" "Nothing." Because when I went to school, the instructor would say, "Maggie, what medications are you giving the patient today?" And then you would have 5 medications. Well, what's the mechanism of action? They don't do that anymore and shit. I'm not saying every school, but every person that's ever come through here, I can't get one person to say they do that shit. They just make them make the drug cards and then that's it.
Okay. Well, we're
So
here to educate you nurses.
I would ask you, that would be a question this week I would ask on your things. Like,
That's a great thing. Yes, actually.
how much pharmacology do you get? And, because I'm not joking, like, it's crazy. Like, and I'm not mad at the students. I'm mad at the school
No.
system
Yeah.
for not educating their,
And that's a good point. Don't ever
their
hesitate to call a pharmacist. I've done it. I've worked in a
well,
freestanding
I'm
emergency room.
not a big fan. I rely on Kevin. I don't rely on the fucking pharmacist. Because all
Well,
the
just to get
pharmacist is
some
gonna do is read
feedback.
the damn book. Yeah, but the pharmacist is gonna read a stupid book. And what did they read it wrong? Because we had a case here in the hospital where the pharmacist put antibiotic into a bag of Levophed. And then the nurse infused it, the patient died, and who got blamed?
How was it figured out that that was what happened?
I don't think they just went back and backtracked it, through the sentinel event, but
Yeah,
who got blamed for it?
the nurse did.
Right. See what I mean? So, I mean, if I'm gonna get fucking blamed from everything, then I'm gonna rely on Kevin. Fuck that shit.
Well, but the textbook answer is as well. And then there have been times, especially if I didn't know someone was like compatible or, I
That's
was
why you have a
missing
drug
something.
book. What I mean,
But
all my students come. I got you, but in your damn Epic, you have a thing that you can look up the IV compatibility or not. Take the time to
no,
look the
dude,
fucking shit
I
up.
know, but I came from a time where we didn't have Epic, right?
I got you, but we had drug books back then, and
yes,
in every
we
drug
did.
book, there's an IV compatibility
I
chart
know,
that you
but
can
now I
use.
have like 12 drips. And honestly, what I would do when I had 15 or 20
That's
drips,
why I got a fucking app that you can fucking put in 12 guys. It's called David's Drug App, and you can put in 12
listen
fucking
up, ICU
medications,
nurses, use
and
this.
you can put in it says IV compatibility or not. There's no excuses shit. I got all these apps on my phone that help me. So that's bullshit.
Well, so the other
Excuses
thing
are
that
like
I would
assholes.
do,
Everybody's got one and they all fucking stink.
I would draw up all the medications because again, and then I would agitate it.
Right.
Then I know these are not compatible. This is not happening, right? Because again, there's only so much on my chart that I could
Right.
get to, and so that was my fail safe. Sometimes is that
But there's so many resources now. It's just
there
people don't
is
want to take the
for
time to do
sure.
it and shit. So
Yeah, and then you
that's
are required to use those resources as well. So
right.
you will be asked.
Imagine that shit. Use your resource. Can you tell us about a particularly challenging case you've handled through Advocates for Nurses? So if all of you don't know, Advocates for the number 4 nurses, or is it FOR? Did I put that wrong?
It's both actually. I own both, but I appreciate
Okay.
you.
So advocatesfornurses.com. And then how did you approach it? So what do you think one of the most craziest cases you've ever had?
I'm working on right now, so I can't go into
Okay,
too
all right.
Yeah.
Well, tell us another case that you've
Yeah,
closed that you
one of the ones that again, let's pivot off of like you never get to take off your nursing hat. So nurse reaches out, working with a lawyer. She's up in northern Texas, and so this is like early 2000s. I don't remember what was happening. There was someone in the community that was harming women. She was working nights at a smaller place. They didn't have employee parking. We are in Texas. You can carry a concealed weapon. So she not into the building. I'm not there yet. So, but she takes it to her. She carries it with
carry
her.
a gun?
You can.
Don't get me started. I'm gonna get in trouble.
So she brings her gun to work because she's working nights, leaves in the car. She's walking in the building. There's a male that's moving to her quickly. So she goes to the car, gets her gun out, just pulls it and, aims it. And he throws papers at her. They're divorce papers. She could not have known that.
Oh.
He goes into the building and says what she did. And they report her to the board of nursing. She ends up just giving up her license. She's like, I'm done with this. I'm not going to live this life. And so that to me again,
would you have given up your license?
Would I give up mine?
No, would you have given it up in that case?
I wouldn't have. But she was having a lot of, it's easy. I don't judge, right? So as an advocate for nurses, I try to give nurses all the information. Would I give up? She has some extenuating circumstances. And then I think she ended up in front of the board again for something ridiculous. She had been hospitalized, like kidney stone surgery, and then comes back to work like within a short period of time where, again, she was taking some PO narcotics and they drug test her. And she was just like, I'm done. Every day, I mean, nurses call me every day of every hour and tell me some of the most, ridiculous stories. If you have anything happening in your personal life, it will cross over.
Yeah.
And nurses don't realize that.
Well, there's one MP who, I don't know the case exactly, but there's one MP that I'm sure you're seeing on TikTok and all those pages where she's seeking mental help.
Yep.
And they reported her to the board of nursing and boards and got her. Oh, it's in Colorado too. They got her by the balls and watching her, but I don't think that's appropriate. I mean, I understand.
There was an article in Becker's. There was a PhD nurse who wrote an article, said that she was bipolar And then the board of nursing was coming after for fitness of practice. This is my huge issue. You need to look up this word, nurses. If you don't know what fitness to practice is, they use this against us for so many things.
One more time.
Fitness to practice.
Fitness. Is that every board? Fitness
Yeah.
to
Practice.
practice.
So remember when we
but
talked about the most
Do
common
they have that for
complaint?
MDs? Yeah. What's the most common complaint? Drugs?
They have to evaluate you for fitness to practice. So
fitness to practice.
so
Gotcha.
all of that falls under your fitness to practice. So then let me
Does
tell
it
you what
mean-
happens.
Does
Yes.
it mean fitness up here? Like are
Yep.
you mentally capable?
So you have to pay for your own psychological evaluation, which is they
I
get
know
to
it
pay.
sounds fun. I'm sorry everybody laughing, but that's fucked up. I gotta pay to say that I'm not crazy and shit. I'm gonna go doctor shop.
Well, so they get to pick the physicians. It's 3 of theirs that they pick
Right.
that you get to choose. That you have to pay it. You cannot use your
So you gotta
insurance.
pay for all of it.
Yes.
You gotta pay. I gotta pay for my 3, and I gotta pay for their 3.
You don't get to pick 3, love. No.
So
No.
I just get 1. I get 1, and they get 3.
They have a list of 3 doctors more
Oh,
often
and
than
then you just pick one of the 3.
you get to pick one of the ones that's on their approved list.
So I don't get to pick my own.
No.
So I got to pick their doc. That sounds like an IME to me, because the IME was the same way. They would come to the person and say, "This is the IME doctors that you can choose from." I'm like, yeah, but that's bullshit. How do I know they're not in your pocket?
Yep.
Yeah, that's bullshit right there. So I got to pay for my own psychological evaluation from one of their doctors.
That
who
you may
might
not
be
even
in-
get it. And then we're not going to give you those results.
If I'm paying for it,
No, you're
how
not.
do I not get the results? And I'm the patient.
Exactly. You are the
How's that
patient,
legal? How is that legal?
not the last lawyer that I helped. So she was a year and a half into her case, and myself and the other advocate pushed, and we pulled in HIPAA law, right? You're not above that. And I said, you call that doctor. Now I don't give a shit about the board of nursing. You will call that provider. You will let them know, hey, doctor, you know what? You have a license. So if you don't give me my medical record that's protected under HIPAA, I will report you to the medical board. So you tell me what you want to do.
Can you do that?
The language. Yeah, oh, hell yeah. Did that. Guess what she got? She got a report. And guess what was founded?
That
Nothing.
she wasn't. Oh, shit. So the board was trying to say she wasn't fit, but yet he said that she was okay. So they're
After
lying.
we got this evaluation.
So how come we can't punish the board for lying?
And whom will she tell? And whom will she tell? And whom will she tell?
No, but what I'm saying is, how come we can't punish the board for lying?
And whom will she tell that to?
Well, who's over the board?
No one.
Not the governor?
Call them. I did. They know my name.
So the governor won't, but the governor is over the board, right? Because they're the ones that
every
appointed.
state is different. No, every state is different. And I hear this, and you see this on the Facebook.
Well, because in California, I know that certain people on our board are appointed by the governor. I just don't know who.
Yes, but not
That's
within.
fucked up.
It is. So in my state, they appoint the executive director, right? But there's no one. That's why in my state, that's why I wrote the bill for the ombudsman. Now in the state of Texas, if you go to about, right, there's a way to make a complaint about the nursing board to the nursing board. Because myself and another activist went to.
Hey, here's a form on my desk. You can fill out that form to complain about Kevin, but you got to turn it into Kevin.
And that's what happened. So that's why we wrote the bill for the ombudsman. And then it made it, but then 2020 hit. And then, I was just trying to get us masks.
So why are so many lawyers not helping us fight this shit? Do they just not give a shit? Is the board of nursing that powerful?
No.
I don't understand why we're so. That's doesn't make sense though.
When these nurses come to me, or even like these lawyers,
where are all you pussy lawyers? How come you ain't helping us fight the
I'm not saying
shit? I'll say it. Like, what the fuck's wrong with your ass?
Even when I heard a judge say the last time I testified for a nurse, a judge who's a lawyer first, right? They go to law school and they become a judge because they spend years. And I don't know, right? I'm going to be taking the LSAT in June, but I don't know all the stuff. But if you're a judge, you've been a lawyer for a hot minute. The judge, while we're in the breakout room, myself, the nurse, the attorney, and all her stuff, because, I'm hard on a nurse. If you consult with me, you and your legal team, you're going to know your case inside and out. And she did all 33. Number 1, Exhibit A. She didn't know this word before me. Exhibit B. We get through all 33, and she's not working because she's been formally charged. She's been a nurse for 3 decades. And we go through, they go to the breakout room. We go to the breakout room. And the judge asked her, one of the judges there too, why do you think you're here? And she, she looks at us, because I had told her, don't talk about any of that. You're going to smack him so hard in the face with facts. It's going to be embarrassing. And it was. And so she looked at me and I shook my head and she said, retaliation. The judge then said, I oftentimes see nurses here due to retaliation.
Right.
I'm dying inside, but there's her expert and I'm not there as an advocate. And I was like, ma'am, can you just please repeat that? And I couldn't follow that up. Now on LinkedIn I did, but why is if she knows that? I'm no one, I'm a nurse, dude. Why
Right.
is that she is
I don't
doing
know. That's what I would like to know. Like, why can't we talk to these judges and ask them these damn questions and stuff? Because
why aren't they going to their representatives? If I'm standing in front of my representative, I've made change in my own state. Why are they not doing the same?
I don't know. Can the judge go to the representative? Is that
Why,
even?
yes,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. If it's legal, ethical.
yes. When sunset is what sets our
I don't want to
law.
get in trouble because apparently people loved her and shit. But there was a recent nurse who apparently was a congresswoman or something. I don't remember her name. I wouldn't say it anyway because I don't want to get bashed and shit. But what did she do for nurses while she was there? Everybody said they loved her, but I ain't mentioning her damn name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
I'm not going down that road. Look at me. I'm a brave son bitch, but I'm not falling on this fucking sword. But she was a congresswoman. But I want to know, what did she do for nurses while she was in the damn Congress? Like, I don't know. Like, I've been trying to find things that she did that was for the nurses. And I don't know if that's, I'll ask you off the air because you know who I'm talking about.
Sure, I think I do.
Oh,
Yes.
but what did she do for nurses while she was there?
Well, I'll get back with you on that research. I don't know that I'm 100% sure on that either.
I couldn't find shit. I couldn't
Um,
find shit. She did other things, but she
yes.
didn't do shit for nursing.
Yeah.
So if you're a
That's-
nurse and you go to Congress, why don't you do shit for nurses? I don't understand that. Now, I don't, maybe it's hard because maybe she can't, because once you get into the beast, it's hard to do shit up there. I don't know, because I've never been a
Well,
congressperson. So
I stood in front of the public health committee and the chair is a nurse, and I've asked these very same questions. You know what I mean? I've sat in front of the representatives who are physicians and I've asked these very same questions. Everyone who holds office in my state knows who I am.
well, I'll get there someday, but I'll wait till I'm a little bit older because I still got 6 kids and I got a 10-year-old, so I'll wait till
Woo!
she graduates high school. So how can nurses ensure their rights are protected during the BRN disciplinary or the Board of Nursing disciplinary action? What can we do to protect our rights?
Well, you need to make sure you're educated about the process. Please reach out to me. That's one of the things I do primarily is the education pieces. Lawyers have asked to buy some of my product because like you talked about the handouts and stuff, like you're collecting stuff. It's the same for me. I've created 15 handouts because it's very nerve-wracking to a nurse. What is an agreed order? What are formal charges? So I just break it down. I have clickable links to the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, like to the video. What does it mean to be under investigation? It's 2 a.m. You can't sleep. You just go to that clickable link and maybe you're like, okay, Maggie said that. You know what I mean? So once you know, and I
gotta
think
fucking read.
exactly, or watch a video, watch a
Okay.
video. Okay. Okay. So, but it's the lack of, it's just like with anything, when you get a diagnosis, it's that you don't know. So it's the knowing,
Yeah,
okay,
but we're responsible for knowing, but we don't know.
I know. And it's easy
How
for me
come
to
they don't
some
teach
other
this in
stuff.
nursing school? How come we don't have a whole
No.
semester on this shit in nursing school?
Texas required jurisprudence for nurses. It's a 6-hour
Oh,
course.
yeah, but
and
6 hours ain't nothing. We should do
It's
more.
not
We
a
should have a
lot.
whole fucking semester.
Yes. And it is kind of the intersection of your license and the law. My mentor, Lolly, used to teach it. They required every third cycle. You have to take a 3-hour New Mexico.
I see a new class forming
There
here.
you go. I'll get you with Lolly. She'll get you over any of her. She's a lover. If you
Yeah.
really want help doing this stuff, she's all about educating the
I
nurses.
would create a new class, jurisprudence for
Yep.
California nurses.
Yes, she
I
would love
would.
it. She's
Yeah.
got all the data. I'd
I-
even get her to do a Zoom for you.
If she would help me, I would do it. Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
joking. I'll create
No,
a
I
new
will. I'll
class
reach
with
out
that.
to her. Yes,
Yeah.
she would love that. Exactly. Because again, she's some of the stuff that wrote up some of the stuff and went to the executive director because she had concerns about what she was seeing happening in nurses. Come up with safe harbor. So safe harbor, we'll pivot right back to that just real quick. If you're only 2 states in a situation, let's just say it's an unsafe assignment, you can call safe harbor is a peer review process. You're of course going to get
But who has that? Who has the safe harbor?
Texas and New
states?
Mexico.
Yeah,
Only
they're the
2.
only 2 states. So what about
Yeah.
the rest of us fucking 48 states? What do we do? Take it in the
I don't
ass?
know. Why haven't you gone to your nurses association? Because it was a nurses association got this passed here.
Wait. I'm a down this. So you mean the American Nurse Association where people spend
Yeah.
millions and millions of dollars and they don't fucking help? And they were fucking silent during the fucking COVID crashes and shit?
What?
What?
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't give these people my money.
if we're gonna give you money, why don't you protect us
Yep.
and shit? Why don't you actually make some shit happen instead of just sitting on your hands and stuff? Because you scared of the boards
Interesting.
too? Like, I mean, I don't understand that.
Interesting,
Powerful.
because they're in bed with the hospital associations and they don't have our best
Yeah.
part. And that's where nurses don't understand. Because I go to the Capitol. So when I'm sitting there and waiting to speak to my representative
So
and
is the
Big
California
Oil
Hospital
walks in
Association. All the
and
hospitals
is
says you are
the,
too. And they
yep,
got more money than we do, so they listen to them.
way more money. And you know, they're not speaking to
Yeah.
Advocate Maggie. They're speaking to Dr. So-and-so with the hospital association or lawyer. They're speaking to Big Oil and Gas. They're speaking to,
Right.
oh, who is here? Oh, okay, we got 3 minutes. You can pop in now.
Oh, I'm sorry. He went to take a pee break. He'll be
Yep.
back in an hour.
Yep. Did you want to set up a Zoom or did you want to like
Right.
call or is there someone else you can speak to? And they
Well,
literally wait right outside the pit before they walk onto the floor. It's called the pit. They
right.
stand there. They make sure they are seen by their representative before they walk onto the floor, right, to vote on any bill. They want to see the money. They want you to see your money,
Right.
your reelection before they walk onto the floor
Right.
to decide what they're going to vote on. So I
Right. That's
never,
true.
that don't mean shit.
Right. It's true though, because we went to. I'm part of the Emergency Nurse Association in California and the nation, but we go. It's called Legislative Day. We go up north to California to Assembly, and we went one year and we were trying to get some bill passed, and the guy's like, you know what? There's not enough of you. We don't even really care about you. You don't have the
Yep.
power, so I'm just gonna be honest. Nobody
Yep.
gives a shit.
Yep.
I was okay with it, but I was dumbfounded at the same time because at least he had the balls admitted,
Yep.
but it was behind closed doors, and he wouldn't say that in public. So.
Nope.
But he, he wasn't wrong. There was a case recently. I don't know. It's still breaking. I don't. It's called Montefiore White Glove. You never heard of that place? You got to look that up.
Okay. What?
Montefiore.
Give me a little more context.
So there's a lady on TikTok. I'm sure you follow her, APRN Beauty or
Of
something.
course.
She's
I
the
know,
yeah.
Takara.
She posted on there. She talking about a travel nurse who was at this hospital. There was an 80-something-year-old lady who escaped. I don't know if it's a recent story, but it looked recent because it was just posted yesterday. 85-year-old lady escaped the hospital and was found in the parking lot dead, and the hospital's trying to cover it up. She's showing the text from the travel nurses saying, hey, this fucking place is, I don't want to take these unsafe assignments. We need your help. Like, you should watch the video and shit. It's crazy.
Oh
It's
my
nuts. I
God.
reposted it, so you'll see it, but
Okay.
it's nuts. I don't know
Wow.
what I'm saying, the name of the hospital, right? But that's her. I did not post it. I'm just reposting it, but it was, but
So the hospital is trying to cover it up in what fashion?
I don't know. Do you watch the video? Because
Okay.
that was
Okay.
her words, not mine. So, but watch
Sure.
the video and you'll
Oh
see what I mean.
God. No,
But it
listen
wouldn't
up,
surprise me.
nurses. You cannot be, I know, but just like that case out of I think it was Georgia, where the labor and delivery case, you saw this one where
Oh,
the
where
baby,
the baby got decapitated? Yeah. Well, the nurses are going to be held responsible because they
oh
probably
yeah.
didn't say, "Hey, dumbass, you need to get help." They just
And
stand there
and
and watched it, and
and so there's
but
my
that's an
problem.
insult to the family with $10,000. Like that's who offered that.
And not only that, any of the nurses part of like,
If the family's listening, don't take $10,000.
oh my
I need like
God.
100 million. Like that's
Oh,
crazy.
billion. I mean, that kind
Yeah.
of, holy cow, that
Right.
the doctor fails to come again. I don't know. All I saw
I
again,
guarantee the nurse is going to get blamed.
the physician hopefully does as well. But now, that's a medical emergency.
I asked some L&D nurse, and they said they call it two chance pop offs. You get
Yes.
two chances. So if it pops off twice, then you're supposed to go for C6.
Yep.
And you're supposed to speak up and say, hey,
Yep.
dumbass, you popped off twice.
Yeah.
You need to fucking go get help or go get a C6. We can't be doing this shit no more.
Yeah. And
But apparently,
unfortunately, nurses, you got to write. You do, if you needed to call 911, unfortunately, that's what you needed to do. And failing to
even
escalate.
in the hospital,
Yes.
why don't
Yes.
just call a rapid response?
What if they
Bring
don't
other
come?
people.
What if they don't come?
I can't imagine they wouldn't come because everywhere we go, we've had that
Hold on,
happen
look at
where
that ER nurse that called 911 out of Florida.
yeah, I'd have to look and see the how big the hospital is,
Yeah.
shit. But I get that. I mean, I do get that. I mean,
I
at least
mean,
you
if
get
you're
paramedics to come
concerned,
and help, and
because again, now so that may have,
she gonna get fired.
I know, but rather that than this. But then
I know.
there's no way, dude. If they would have come to us and said, "Prop the bit," you or I, can you imagine them coming to
That's
you or I? Are you
not
shitting me
just.
right now?
Wait. What about the other case where the lady died and they propped her up to make the
Stop.
family? Do you remember that
Stop.
one? You didn't
Yes,
see
I'm
that
like,
one?
I did see that one. Like, I don't
Hey, your
understand.
mama's still alive. Don't worry about it. She's propped up in bed just taking a fucking nap and shit. Look, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why
If
would you
you
do
would come
that
to
shit?
me, like, go ahead and prop the head, I'd have been like, you got
Like,
me
have
all
you
wrong
lost your
here.
fucking mind,
I'd
man?
have been
Like,
like, no. I
right?
would have
Like,
gone to the doctor like I
but
have
why?
before
But
and
why do
said,
nurses
doctor,
think
you,
that's okay?
I
Why would they
don't
even comply
know.
to that shit?
I don't understand. Even when I speak to nurses, because I call them the one percenters, I'm like, okay, now you're not a nurse. I just want to out loud. Do you
Right.
understand how this may, can we just, and
That's
I'm
why I
not
want to
judging
review
it.
cases. That's why I want to review cases so we could talk about that shit so people, if they see it in the future. But sometimes I think it's just like I had a student yesterday. I won't tell your name, but she's Cambodian. And I gave her a case scenario. She's like, oh no, I would do what the doctor said. I'm
What?
like, yeah, but you can't do that. Like if it's wrong, yeah, but our culture, I'm like, yeah, but you got to let that go. I said, I'm not trying to say get rid of your culture,
Yeah.
but in this field, you got to learn that you have to be an advocate for the patient. Like,
Yeah.
the board ain't going to give a shit about that. So
Yeah.
you should understand that,
That's
but
a
it's
solid
hard. I mean,
point.
sometimes it's a hard though.
It
All right.
is.
So my last question, how does your Facebook page serve as a platform for advocate for nurses? And can you share some key discussions or resources available on your platform and your websites and stuff?
Sure. A lot of real communication from nurses that have been disciplined in the process. Some of them are brand new, some of them, are a decade out. And so
Right.
I encourage people to have real conversations. I mean, you saw the other day, like, I'm not going to post someone's agreed orders. I'm just not going to do it. I
I
think that's
would.
disrespectful and rude. And
They're on the fucking board's website.
I
Man.
know, but
Whatever.
I don't want,
You're
if they
so
want
nice.
to share, then I'm more than, but I just don't want to put
I know
some
you're
shit
nice.
up there. Um, so
But
I try to just,
I will tell people you can post anonymously on
yes,
her platform. So if you
yep,
don't want to share your name, you can
yep,
post anonymously so you don't have to be embarrassed.
yep. And
Okay.
I've removed people. Like, I don't mess around. If you're being ugly to another nurse, I will side curb you once. And then
Right.
if you continue that conduct, this is an open forum. And no, the only question that's dumb is the one that you don't ask.
Right.
And please ask it anonymously. And I don't shame anyone. I'm direct as a rule. Know that my time can be limited. So some of my responses may be just very direct, but I want it to be a safe places where nurse can come and talk about real life
Right.
stuff.
And there's other people that will respond like I respond. I don't remember your friend's name, Denise or Janie
Darlene,
or Darlene. Darlene
Darlene's had
responds.
discipline. Darlene has had discipline. That's how we cross
Oh,
paths.
yeah.
So she
So,
is the only other advocate that I work with. She
well,
found me
I've never
on
been disciplined. So,
LinkedIn.
well, almost, but not, I never got
Or
report. I
people who've had
never,
a near miss. You know what I mean? Because it
I'm a near
scares them as
miss.
well. Yeah.
I am a near miss, but so,
Yeah.
so that's good though. So I know that we're going to do another interview later on. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about other things next time. But what do you want people to take away from Maggie and Advocates for Nurses?
You're never alone. You're never alone. You're never alone. You have people like myself and Kevin. If you have a question, you're unsure about something, reach out. Use your resources. I know it's rough out there, but find the wolf nurses. You've met Kevin and I. There are people in your unit, in your hospital that are there for you. Use the resources available. Like I said, the only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
But what about when you get faced with a manager or a charge nurse that says you got to do it?
I just tell them, I'm so sorry, 21711 S and T require me to do some other things. So that's where I talk about knowledge is power. And so
Right.
you knowing the rules and regulations, understanding your Nurse Practice Act in a respectful manner, pushing back, using your chain of command. I like the middle of folder approach. And then they know that I'm coming to them in an educated fashion and I'm asking them, are you asking me to commit medical malpractice? Which medical malpractice is knowingly and willingly taking on an unsafe assignment. That is from the
I
Texas
like
Nurses
that.
Association's ears, lips to my ears. And I asked him this question because I wanted the nurses in the audience to know the answer. And I was like, hey, I had met them at the Capitol when I was testifying and I introduced myself to these people. Jake knew who I was, right? When I asked this question and I was like, hey, so I know we would talk about pay and staffing. So let's talk about staffing. So is it my understanding, right, that if a nurse knowingly and willingly, let's just say in the ICU takes on 3 patients instead of 2, is that the definition of medical malpractice? Yes. I said, sir, will you repeat that again for all those gasps in the audience? If I knowingly and willingly take on an unsafe assignment, is that the definition of medical malpractice? Yes, it is. Thank you, sir.
And that's all we need to know right there.
Mic drop.
All right. So that's where you got to go back and say the same thing to your bosses and stuff.
Yep.
I like that.
Again, if they think that they're not
Okay.
absolved, I'm going to use my chain of command. And I'm sorry, what was your name? In a respectful manner. You're not going to be ugly. You're not going to. But also, the other thing that I tell nurses, are you really waiting till the day you showed up? Because when I saw on the schedule, when I was working in the cath lab, that I was on call with someone I didn't know, I didn't wait till that day. I was like, who is this person? What is their credentialing? Because I'm not showing up at 2:00 in the morning with someone I don't know.
No, but
And
like in
that
the
person did
ER,
not take call with me.
no, but like you go to the ER in California, the law says you're only supposed to take 4 patients, but people will take, like this one lady who came to my class, she said they gave her 10. And
No.
I said, they didn't give you 10, you accepted 10.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say no. And she's like, we can't refuse.
Yes, you can.
They say we're abandoning them. Like that means you don't know the definitions of abandonment and refusal. So that's one thing I'm working on with nurses and stuff. All
Yep.
right,
And did you see that article I wrote on LinkedIn, scathing? And I said, if
no, but
you're a
send it
nurse
to me and
leader,
I'll repost it. Yeah.
I will. And you're using the word abandonment inappropriately. Let me define that for you, because you know what's also abandonment? When you don't staff appropriately. When
Well,
you
your
30 days
managers,
ago.
yeah, your managers and directors have fucking nursing license
Yep.
too. They can get their ass
Yes.
out and help you.
217.11 number 2 says specifically about the chief nursing officer. Knowledge is power. If you don't think that I don't know that.
I don't know if California has that, but I'll have to find it.
Yeah, they only have one little blurb where it talks about like specifically the chief nursing officer, but just think about the logical argument. What's their job description? What is their role? I'm showing up as a bedside nurse, nurse manager, director, CNO. Their workflow is very different than mine. They're responsible for everyone in the building as the chief nursing officer.
Right.
You know why I won't do that job? For that very reason. No,
Right.
thank you. I'm good.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking your time. I look forward to our next interview, which I don't remember when we scheduled it, but it's soon.
Yes,
So
let's do it.
I'm excited because next time we're going to get in a little bit more detail of how we can help people.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
can, don't forget to go to advocatesfornurses.com. It's either with the word FOR or the number 4. Either one works right there. And Maggie has a charting class that I've been sending people to. Charting how to protect your license is a good thing. So I think I've had several people go to it. So
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
yeah,
And thank you for all
yeah.
the feedback. And again,
Oh,
thank
that's
you for
good.
helping me. And I
No,
have
thank
gotten
you for helping me. Yeah.
a feedback that, people,
Did they like it?
so helpful. Yes, yes. And I've extended the handout was initially 6 pages. Now it's 16 pages
Holy shit.
because people have given me some
Yeah,
feedback.
but don't give shit away for free though. I mean, you
I'm
work hard.
not.
I mean, I know, but it's hard. I'm the same way. I like to give stuff away, but your time is money, and this is how we support ourselves. So we're doing the grunt work, so people can at least pony up a few bucks to help us out.
Yes.
I got children to pay for.
Exactly. Well, then you helping me get the CE so I can provide that for nurses because they should be able to come to the
It's
course.
still
and get it.
working, right? It's still
Yeah,
working.
thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I
I
appreciate
know the board of nursing here runs slow,
it.
don't they? And they want every
Yes.
fucking dollar they can get, so it's crazy. All right, I appreciate you. I hope you have fun. I appreciate you taking your time. And
I do.
I got up early. You said I was
I
crazy, but
know.
it's all right. It was fun. It's 7:00 here. It's supposed to
Yeah.
rain like a sumbitch the next 2 days. So
Oh,
yeah, I like it.
I
All
love
right, I
it.
appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Don't miss out. Engage with us weekly. Share your thoughts, and let's transform the nursing landscape together.